Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another Facebook Live for WOIII, Women of Impact Innovation International. And boy, do we have a treat for you. So, the month of June is International Wealth and Investments Month. And we thought we'd kick the month off today with some special things just to define what those things are. So, my name is Sabrina Prochik. I am the board liaison for WOIII. I'm also an author of 6 books, with my most recent book, number 6, being released. We'll get to that in a moment. I have with me Noelle Ramos. Hi, Noelle.
Hello, Sabrina. Good morning.
Good morning. Where are you streaming out of?
I am streaming out of Atlanta, Georgia today.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Noelle is a registered agent with Capital Choice Investments. So she is the girl that can help us unpack what are investments. We really need to know what that is. And I have with me Whitney Hartford. Where are you streaming out of, Whitney?
I'm streaming out of Maryland today.
But that's not where you reside, correct?
Correct. So I'm on a little vacation and I'm handling business while I'm here.
Thank you. Whitney Hartford specializes in identity theft. And boy, does she have some stories to share. So we have to be careful with our private information as we wealth build and as we invest, because there's always people out there snooping. As I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about wealth and investments, and we're going to share just a few things from my book. I'll bring this up here, see if I can get it to center. If I put it right in front of me, there you go. Yeah. Hindsight to Insight, Money Between Family and Friends. And there it is right there.
Yeah. So I have my copy right here.
Thank you, Noelle. I'm doing a virtual. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. She is a featured expert in the book, and so is Whitney Hartford. So what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to throw out some acknowledgments to all of the contributing experts, because I can't do it alone. When you're doing something this big, no one person has all the keys to the kingdom. Understand that. And Noelle will talk about that. You have to diversify. Even your portfolio has to be diversified. And even with your identity theft, you have to make sure you include everything in the pot. So I want to acknowledge Hua Nguyen. She is also a WOII ambassador. She was on real estate syndication in my book. Jaime Gonzalez, her husband, he's with real estate, multifamily housing. Dr. Shelley Hipsky, both Hua and Jaime are doctors. Dr. Shelley Hipsky, she's the CEO of Inspiring Lives International. Dina Arbanatakis, she does estate planning. She's an estate planning attorney. Deirdre Pittman is a tax specialist, been doing this over 30 years. She says she keeps you out of IRS jail. That's her thing. Noelle Ramos, I just introduced you to, investments registered representative. Daryl A. Johnson, he specializes in legacy building, and he's the CEO of Thriving Women Network. Austin Farmer is a data analyst. He teaches you how to track your number. He has some very good tools he's built to help you stay on top. And I know your position is what he calls it. And Whitney Hartford, identity theft. So now, and I want to mention Janine Letford, who wrote the book, who wrote the foreword in the book. She is an award-winning author, and she also wrote a book on wealth and investments, which I read first, actually, before I wrote my book. So let's get started. You always have to identify everyone. So I want to say welcome to our weekly Wisdom Live, brought to you by WOII, Women of Impact and Innovation International, honoring wisdom while building the next generation of innovative women leaders. Each month, we will be focusing on one topic, and each week we'll be diving into different aspects of that topic. So this month, as I've mentioned, is Wealth and Investments Month, and we brought the experts. So we're going to start with, what is wealth? Well, wealth basically is what your number is. And as professionals in financial services, Noelle and I help you find that number. Oftentimes when I start with a client, I say, what is your number? And they have no idea what I'm talking about. What is your financial security number? And for people of different diversity levels, that number can be different, totally different. So when we mention wealth, it's what is your comfort level? Well, what does it take to attain wealth? in my book under wealth building, and this is in chapter 17. Yep, chapter 16, wealth building. It mentions what is the wealth building process. Well, there are 3 to 4 simple steps. Number 1, earning income. We can't have wealth without earning income. Now, I know some people may inherit wealth, but they still have to maintain it. There's still some things they have to do actively to maintain that wealth. So we start just at the very beginnings of earning income. That is an active effort. That means that you have a job, you're an employee, or you have a business that's generating income flow for you. So those are active things that you do. It takes some manpower. You have to show up for it on a regular basis. So that's not I opened up my statement and I just made $100. That's not step 1. Step 1 is having that active income. Noelle, that's an important step. When you speak with people on starting their wealth building process, do you talk about the income?
Definitely, because I think a lot of my clients and a lot of individuals, they're scared that they're going to run out of money when they get to a certain age. So making sure you have that income now and making sure you have that income later is very crucial conversation to have. Like you said, Sabrina, it's like, no, you need to know what your number is.
Yes. And I find that a lot of people, well, not a lot, I think people are becoming more comfortable now, but they used to get uptight when you talk about money and income, right?
Yeah. Why are you getting in my business? I know my money, you know?
Why should you want to know my business? In fact, I'll share a little secret with you. One of the reasons why I didn't start my wealth building process early when I was in my 20s and 30s is because I thought somebody wanted to get in my business. I thought, why am I going to go sit in front of this registered agent and share my personal data with her? I'm uncomfortable with that because maybe I'm embarrassed about my income.
A lot of people are scared about what their number is. They don't want to know how much debt they're in. A lot of people are scared to realize how much debt. A lot of my clients, when we sit down and do the numbers, they didn't realize how bad or how good it was. We have both sides of the coin. So like, oh, I thought I was a lot worse. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I was this bad.
And exactly. Now, Whitney, you're one of our young wealth building people here. So you specialize in identity theft, but you also are beginning that process. I think you might be working with Noelle. How do you feel about sharing your, just talking about active income and being able to own where you are right now? How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's kind of been a journey. I feel like now I'm way more open to talking to people about helping me get to the next point in my life. As to about 5 to 7 years ago, I was embarrassed with my status. I didn't really know how to approach the topic of how can I move forward and better my credit and really build wealth. So it's one of those things where you have to kind of put your pride aside and don't be scared to ask for help and get that information so you can get to the next point of wealth or in your life or increase your income.
Wow. I mean, coming from a young person. So young people, listen to Whitney. You may feel a little bit intimidated by sharing that, but that's just the beginning of the process. That is step number 1 right here out of my book. Step number 1 is earning income and owning up to the income that you have. This is a great place to start because now you're going to realize you may not have enough, as Noelle mentioned, right? You may not have enough. The next thing is income generation. Now, what do I mean by income generation? Well, that means now taking that income and making more money. See, now, so you want to take what you've earned and you wanted to start working for you. Now we're getting into the wealth building process. I'm making the money, but now how is my money growing? Noelle, can you weigh in on that a little bit on the growth side?
Yeah. So, I'm sure all of you have you've heard that saying, you want to make your money work for you. And so a lot of people, when they're wanting to start this process, I started this business about 6, 7 years ago, and I wanted to invest and I wanted to, do something. but I didn't know what to do. And so a lot of it is where we just don't understand. We just don't know what we're doing. And so, my advice is to find that person who's going to take the time to sit down and educate you about the differences of mutual funds and, compounding interest, and how compounding interest works for you, and how long it takes for your money to double using the rule of 72. This is things they do not teach in schools, which obviously they need to. And, I've sat down with Whitney. She's young, she's got time, and that's great. And we've gone over these things, and I don't mind going over 10 times, not that Whitney needed it, but 10 times if I have to, because we need to understand what we're doing. And I think a lot of the times in this industry, we have professionals who overtalk their clients and try to use those big words and don't help them to understand what they're actually trying to do. And so we need to learn it so we're not scared of it, so we understand it, so we can figure out how our money can grow for us. And so we can change our legacy, we can change our generational wealth. These things are crucial, because do we want to continue to go in the same cycle that our other parents did? If they weren't, me personally, I have my grandfather right now who's living with my mother because he can't afford anything else. And I know when the time comes, my mother's going to live with me. But when the time comes for me, I don't want it to be that way, because I want to change my generational legacy and have it where I'm not a burden towards anyone.
I mean, that's so well said. And Whitney, we'll get to you a minute on this. I want to read something from my book, because there are different avenues of wealth building. So multiple streams of income, first of all, passive is included in that. These are just the next levels of increasing your cash flow. The more money you make, the more you have to work with for wealth building. Now, I've heard some really high level investors say, well, I only work with people who have investable assets. I only work with people who have investable assets. That means you got to have $1 million before I even talk to you. And
that'd be great. In a perfect world, then you wouldn't have to work with me.
So what about the person who doesn't have investable assets?
I'm glad you brought that up, Sabrina, because there's options for that as well. I'm not here, I mean, that'd be great. I'm not here to work with just $1 million assets, but with the options that we have available towards it for us, we can work with clients with, as low as $50 per month, who are just getting started, for that 18-year-old who just started their job, or that 30-year-old who that's all they can afford, or even that 50-year-old. We have options where $50 a month, we can get you started in the right direction, and it's never too late. That's all,
I love that. Whitney, can you attest to that? Did we do something like that for you?
Absolutely. And I wish I would have known about it like years ago, because I would have started earlier. And I want to say Noelle's great when it comes to breaking down information. Those big words, like Sabrina said, can kind of be intimidating. So, when I kept asking her, I was like, wait, what does this mean? I don't understand that. And you really have to ask the questions so someone like Noelle can walk you through it, so you do understand how the process works. And I'm so grateful that they have affordable options out there. And it's all about starting. Once you get started and watch that money grow, it's really exciting.
And Whitney, I want to talk to you for a minute. So we know we did set something up for you like that for your children. So if you have young children, or even for yourself, you can do something so the money grows with them as they grow. And certainly you get with a registered representative, someone like Noelle, that can do that. But Whitney, let's talk a little bit about passive income, because I know you're the master at passive income. So you were your stay-at-home mom, but you found a way to bring passive income into your household. Is that hard to do? Let's talk about that for a minute.
I really think you just have to see what options are available to you to make stuff like that, and go for the options. Like, don't be scared to start something that you're not familiar with. Prime example, some people are opposed to social media. I think it's a great tool to make money make a quick video and then boom, you're just waiting on views and money to come in, and it's really exciting. So it's nice to have that extra money come in and like pay for a light bill or pay for groceries, because the economy is crazy now, and it's nice to sit there and no money's coming in. I
Right.
remember I would Sabrina, hey, oh, I'm getting a check today, and it's an extra $200, $300.
Yeah, so let's give ideas. So I know, Whitney, passive income is anything that you're not actively doing on a regular basis, as opposed to active income. So you do something one time and then you get paid for it. So Whitney, she does, you were doing reels and you were getting paid for those, right? You have a couple of businesses. You have some wellness businesses, correct? Skincare businesses, right?
Yep.
You're doing a couple of things where you do it one time and the money comes in.
Right.
So we want to give people ideas. And I do in my book, I have a list of some passive ideas, some things that you can do to get that income going. So got to get the book. I'm not going to reveal all the secrets. I can't give it all away, but I do give about 10 to 15 different options for passive income, things that you can do that work. There are different other types of investments. I mentioned WOIII, she's in syndication real estate. That's one way. Certainly mutual funds and those types of things. I can say that, Noelle. I'm not a registered representative. I can say that, but there are different things that you can do to have your money work for you. And then we're going to go to Whitney in a minute on the identity theft, but the other piece to this wealth building process is called stashing the cash. That's just a catchy phrase for saving your money, putting some money aside. I would say pre-COVID, most of us were kind of loose with our money. We were just
I would agree.
Wouldn't you say, Noelle?
I would agree. We were getting that extra stipend. And so people were like, ooh, I have extra money. What can we spend it on? And that's great if you have it and you want to enjoy your money. You don't want, we're not here to tell you just save, save, save for the future. Make out, I think Sabrina, you have it where you mentioned maybe making a budget and, slotting money for pleasure, for savings, for retirement, and getting your money to work for you and telling it what to do and not the other way around.
And that is so crucial. Control your money. Don't let your money control you. So this is what we say on stashing the cash. Saving money is the next step in the wealth building process. We must be coachable when it comes to setting money aside. Small savings turn into big savings. Big savings turn into massive savings. Out of sight, out of mind works for some people, while others want to see their money regularly. Even with debt, it may be possible to save money. Now, I know, Noelle, when you work with clients, that's a big deal, is finding out how much debt they're in, correct? Before we get to the invest. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, we just recently had, a client where we sat together, Sabrina, and my first question was, what?
How much debt are you in?
How much debt are you in? We need to make sure you are getting that monkey off of your shoulder. I want to make sure, when we go to set up a retirement plan, it's not going to be where you still have debt. We need to focus on the full financial picture and not just your retirement, and, I want to make sure you're 100% going to guarantee to retire. So I need to focus on you, not your grandchildren, not your children. We need to make sure we focus on you first. Because a lot of times, I don't know, as mothers, as parents, we want to put our children first, right? Whitney? We want to put, and we kind of put ourselves on the back burner. So that's where I'm here to remind you, let's focus on you first. It's okay to focus on you. Let's get you set up. Let's figure out where you're at and let's work it from there.
Beautifully stated. I know everybody wants to be a millionaire. I mean, that buzz, who wants to be a millionaire? Everybody wants that. But baby steps, it starts small and you have to own your debt. You have to own it. And look, we can't say we're going to turn you into a millionaire and you're $1 million in debt. It doesn't work that way. But we do help you identify how you can reduce that debt. We have systems in place, Noelle, right? We can do that. I can do that. Calculator that can show you how to eliminate that debt and reduce it. And at the same time, maybe start some small investing. So
Right.
I'm going to go to.
And I was going to say, sorry.
No,
and
please.
then Sabrina, you show them how to protect their income and their, so let's not forget that. We want to identify what our debt is. We want to identify what our income is, and then we need to protect it. And so Sabrina does that very well in her book, and she does that very well with her clients, is identifying each of those topics and making sure that your family is protected against all that, which is also crucial to your whole financial picture.
I appreciate that. And Noelle and I work together. We have done business webinars together. We are your growth and income couple here. We work as a team. It really is about team. I can't know everything. She doesn't, but we are good at what we do. So if you have a company out there and you need that, we'll be happy to come and do a webinar. We can do some in person, but we do talk about growth and income and how to protect it, how to grow it, and basically education. I think Whitney mentioned something really good. I'm going to go back to her for a minute. You mentioned terms. There are so many terms in the wealth and investment world that can be intimidating, right, Whitney? So it can get a little scary.
Yeah, and I was just gonna piggyback off of what you ladies said. It's just a huge weight lifted knowing that you're working on the debt instead of letting it kind of hover over you every day. You're thinking about, am I going to be able to pay this bill? Oh, I have X amount of dollars in debt that I'm just going to carry with me. And each time you work towards alleviating that debt, you can go to sleep with like just a breath of fresh air, like I'm working towards getting out of that instead of holding it over my head.
That is awesome. I mean, we are just getting some really great nuggets here, and I'm really enjoying this. So let's talk for a minute about putting your money to work. Growing assets and turning money into more money is called investing. There are various types of investing with varying degrees of risk from high to low. And Noelle will do a risk investment tolerance with you. That's something that she determines because everybody's different. A broad range of money growth options should be discussed with a financial professional. One of the things that I am really big on in this book is talk to someone who's licensed, who's registered, who has a proven track record. I look, I love your best friend too, but if they are not experienced and licensed, that may not be the right person for you to get your, especially, I'm going to underscore, especially in the world of investments. That's very, very serious. So be careful of who you're getting your advice from, steering and guidance on. That is very, very critical that you know where that's coming from. And then, so let's go on. Wealth building goes hand in hand with building a safe and sturdy financial house. Wealth building is not acquiring things that will not appreciate or grow. Hence, your favorite sneakers. I'm not going to mention any brand names, but if you're wearing brand name things, are they going to appreciate in value? A good example of wealth building blockers is items that will depreciate. Purchasing a car, a boat, extravagant attire, luxury vacations, costume jewelry, electronic devices, and the latest and greatest gadgets can stifle your wealth building plan. As a matter of fact, we met with someone who had made an investment in something. And Noelle, I think you and I met with this individual. They knew it was a bad investment. It wasn't even an investment, it's just something they wanted. We thought we were going to treat ourselves to this and we bought it. And now their potential investment dollars are wrapped up in that item.
Right.
And that could have been something that was growing and working for them. So more or less than you originally paid for it, you got to think about that. When is it going to appreciate in value? I can't tell you how many items I paid top dollar for that are worth nothing today because I got caught up in trends. This is my personal words here. I met a business owner at a networking event with his logo on his t-shirt and other pieces of clothing he owned. He said he was mentored to invest in his brand, not someone else's. So he was branding himself and wearing his own stuff.
Makes sense.
He saw the value of depreciation and not getting caught up in the buzz. So this can go on and on and on about wealth, but let's say we get to that level. We're starting this whole journey of wealth building. Whitney, where does identity theft come into play?
It comes into play greatly when it comes to people potentially getting your account information and then money starts coming out and you don't have that money anymore. So it's huge to protect your identity with some kind of protection plan. You have to get one. You don't want to ever wait till it's too late. I can tell you plenty of stories from my own personal stories, and all it takes is one person to get your social, to get your account information, especially with technology, the whole AI thing. I'll tell you a brief story that just happened this weekend. My husband got a phone call. Somebody said, "Hey, are you shopping here in Chicago?" And he's like, "Yes, but we're not really in Chicago, we're in Maryland." But that was somebody trying to get his information to log into his bank account so that way they could steal money. And, the AI thing, people, sound just like you, or technology, the computers may sound like you. And so once they get your information, now you got to go through this whole process of disputing claims, getting new cards. And it's just a huge hassle that you can eliminate from the beginning. My personal story, I won't dive deep into it, but it took me about 6 to 7 months to dispute $7,000 worth of debt racked up in my name. Horrible. The most stressful point in my life. And now I stand by it. I have identity theft protection because you get notified when someone's trying to use your information. If they do use your information, that company will go in and undo everything that the scammers did. And it's just something that you don't want to go through. And also they can, dive into worse things when it comes to your property and your home, and you have to protect all your assets. So just getting a plan that's like $13 a month is worth saving yourself the headache long term.
Wow, Whitney. Well, there you go. And so because of your experiences, Whitney now offers identity theft protection products, correct, Whitney? Okay,
Correct.
so if
Yes.
they want to avail of that, how do they find you, Whitney?
You can contact me through my email, mominitelikeaboss19@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me through social media. My social media platform is mominitelikeaboss. The great thing is we have affordable plans, not just for individuals, but for families as well. And I jumped on the family plan because, people can take your kids' socials and use that. I've heard plenty of stories where parents will take their kids' social because they have the same name because they're a junior, and they're getting cars and stuff like that. And it's not everyone's a good person. So you have to protect yourself with them.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule with your family on vacation. And thank you so much. Noelle, how can our viewers and listeners find you?
Yes, they can email me at Noelle at capitalchoiceinvest.com, or they can find me also on Facebook just as in Noelle Ramos as well.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming and sharing this very, very critical information. And we have really just opened the door now for our other experts in our WOIII organization to talk about financial literacy and investments, Wealth and Investments Month. So we actually have a board. So our WOIII, we have a board that's called Wealth and Investments. And those ladies will be doing other Facebook Lives this month on that topic. And they'll go deeper into their field of expertise and help you unpack. We started with the preliminaries here to start this, to launch it off. And we're so happy that you were able to join us. So we're going to kind of close out a little bit here. Again, I'm Sabrina Protic, by the way. Let me tell you who I am. You can find me on social media under Sabrina Protic, website sabrinaprotic.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Sabrina Protic, and of course, my book, Hindsight to Insight, Money Between Family and Friends, can be found on Amazon. That's paperback and on the Kindle. So we want to thank you for joining us today, and we hope that today's innovative nuggets of wisdom has inspired you to take action towards an even greater life. Please put a reminder in your calendar that so you don't ever want to miss these Facebook Lives. We do them once a week here at WOIII, and we don't have a specific day, but just tune in. We'll have alerts to let you know. If weekly is not enough and you want to be a part of our vision of being the innovative resource of global initiatives for thought leaders and passionate disruptors, reach out to myself or Crystal Richardson, and we'll tell you more how you can be a member of WOIII. We have various different levels of membership. Please visit our website at WOMENOIII.com. That's womenoiii.com, and research all the opportunities to become a part of WOII for VIP memberships, events, and even brand ambassador board positions. Have a great week, everybody, and unapologetically with honor, gratitude, and disruption. And I want to say before we go, we do have our event coming up in August 25th, I think through the 27th. That's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There are opportunities there for you to attend, to speak, to be a speaker. If you have a book, if you're an author, you can have an author's table and even an opportunity to speak about your book for a brief moment. We're also doing an outreach opportunity at Treasure House Fashions on Sunday. Many women are donating some of their outfits, glitz and glams, and donating it to less fortunate women. And that's going to happen on Sunday. Friday is our red carpet event. So we all get to dress up and mix and mingle and just have a great time. And Saturday is our Let's Bring It Day, where you'll get a chance to be inspired and enlightened and everything that you need to move your business forward. Last year, we had Sharon Lecter there. She was our keynote person. And boy, did she open up and tell us a lot of things that really touched us to our core to help us become better at what we do. So again, thank you, Noelle. Thank you, Whitney. And we will see you next week on WOII Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us.